wie heißt du?
Hallo, mein Name ist Simon Lizotte.
It brings new levels to your sanity. It's insane.
What is up? Today we're going to be talking about the good old legend Simon Lizotte. Now, we all know of him as being the most charismatic, most talented, most unique disc golfer out there. But besides being a legend and icon, I thought I would speak a little bit more to what I truly think Simon is after being lucky enough to spend a couple of days with him one-on-one. And I had so many people asking about, hey, what was it like to be with Simon? So here's my video detailing what I truly think about Simon. And before we get into this, I definitely want to say I'll be making a full long-form video about Simon and all the unique things he's done in his life, because it really is way more than you might think. And I think just detailing his whole life from start to finish would really allow the world to know how amazing he truly is. But as someone that was born in Bremen, Germany, definitely went a long time before he actually made it to the States. But as somebody that was truly gifted in the sport of disc golf, he was already a legend with big help from his father, who was also a major disc golfer. But by the age of 14, he was already competing in local tournaments and destroying with his amazing talent, amazing Simon lines that would surely take the world by storm. And it really is clear over time that Simon's unique nature and approach to the game is what truly sets him apart from anybody else. We know that Pauls and Rickies and Calvins and Gannons have their amazing style, amazing ability to be clutch in those high stress moments, but something about Simon just always captures everyone's interest no matter what is going on. And it certainly helps that he has a long history with trick shots that always have a wide appeal and makes everybody want to watch him. But after years and years of being on tour, he did make a shift from being the crazy guy with crazy lines to being a little bit more subdued, getting older, not wanting to flare up any more injuries, and becoming a more straightforward player, doing a little bit less crazy lines, but still having his fair share of Simon lines. But along with that, he got married, had a kid.
That's not Eagle.
And that leads us to today, where I was able to speak with Simon. Now, after filming this, he did have his second kid, Mia, but that just goes to show he has a lot more things going on than disc golf. And that leads us to where I want to talk about today. Becoming involved in Simon's life for just 48 hours really showed me how intense his life is. You may think of Simon as just being like somebody that plays a couple of rounds, films it, posts it, and then shows up to some events with like the occasional practice every now and then, but that could not be further from the case. He literally has a personal trainer that he goes to nearly every day, working on a lot of flexibility training, a lot of putts, and just general weight training while not trying to do too much muscle gain. And his level of consistency with this program really does allow him to have a lot more consistency than you might expect for somebody that is so nonchalant on the course. And when I spoke to his personal trainer, the guy said, by far, this guy is the most flexible person I have ever worked with. But it really goes to show that his ability to generate so much power with this non-unique form, and it is no accident and proof that working on your form after years and years and years of being in the game makes it way more manageable to perform on tour. We see so many players that come into the tour, they show like really good promise, but then they kind of fall off, or they just kind of have like longevity issues where they're just not being able to perform week after week. Simon does seem to have this ability to perform, and maybe it's the fact that he's been doing it for so long, but I truly think his awareness of what you need to do as a disc golfer helps him outperform the field. Now, sure, he is not the best putter, he's not the best with distance, but he has all the facets that you need and can combine them in a tournament when he needs to, which allowed him to get so many wins in this past couple of years. But apart from his training, what I noticed the most was his insane list of duties that he had to complete. On top of being a dad and a husband, which can be a full-time job, no doubt, he also has so many obligations. I could not believe how many things he said yes to. I think he almost can't say no to people. He is just that genuine and nice that he has a hard time being like, I don't have time for this. He said yes to basically everything that was asked of him when I was there. Didn't matter if it was a putting league, didn't matter if it was a grand opening to a new course nearby, or heck, being on this stupid YouTube channel. He said yes to so many things, and I felt so grateful just to get a little bit of his time, but I could tell he is working his butt off for so much more than just being a disc golfer. And to go along with that, he is also trying to be the most informed disc golfer, I swear, on tour. He says he tries to listen to as much disc golf podcasts, disc golf news as he humanly can so that he can stay in the know and understand what the the disc golf world looks like. And I think that level of effort is not seen by most people on tour. Maybe that's just projection, but I don't think that is actually happening. And apart from just loving disc golf, loving everything that's going on with the new era where we get so many good creators and a lot of great interviews with the top names in the sport, all of this allows for so much more transparency in the sport. And I love that Simon is trying to actively engage with that, with his fans, with the whole YouTube scene. I know in one of the latest Foundation videos where they filmed at Maple Hill, he said, "Of course I watch all your videos." He is truly an ambassador for the sport. It cannot be overstated how much he works to promote the sport and how much effort he puts into having media appearances on tour. And I truly think nobody expects any of this from him. He is just that willing and that kind to give up his time to make the disc golf world better. And now obviously there are a lot of media presences that are required by MVP, by his branding and sponsors. That's a given. But I think for the most part, he goes above and beyond everything else as well. But the last thing I wanted to mention was his hilarious ability to kind of interpret life in terms of disc golf. And by that, I mean, whenever you get tilted around, have a bad shot, you have to recover quick and make sure you do not carry that weight onto your next shot. And I think Simon does this so well. No matter how many challenges he has to overcome in a day, it does not matter. He'll be upset for like a couple of minutes, and then after those couple minutes are gone, he's good, back to 100%. And that level of ability to acknowledge, hey, I'm mad right now, but it's gonna be okay, and then actually be okay in a couple of minutes is astounding to see in real life. And one example of that is middle of the round when I was filming him. Of course, I did not think about it, but my SIM card got full. He was on time constraints. He had to be done with the round at like a certain time. And so he was grumpy. He was a little upset about it, which is very fair. I should have been more prepared, but basically like that, he was back to normal, all chilled, all good. And I genuinely think he was cool about it. And it reminds me so much of his disc golf game. If he has a bad shot, has those moments where he just did not execute in the way that he wanted, he can come back the very next throw and throw like he is on top of the leaderboards. That ability to overcome whatever challenge you are facing is truly astounding to see in real life. And I think as us fans, we kind of overlook this fact. We're like, yeah, they can probably throw the next shot, no problem, because they're pros. But there's a lot more mental stress than you may think because they're not just robots. They have so many more things to think about. And I think Simon is one of the greatest examples of somebody in the sport that can overcome challenges more than anyone else. And I think this is what makes him truly one of the best disc golfers. His resilience and determination to fight back, whether it's having to sleep a couple hours a night because you have a brand new newborn, or whether it's countless media obligations. Whatever he is facing, he overcomes it like it is no problem. And I'm sure all of us can learn a little bit from that lifestyle, that no matter what setback you have the resolve to overcome it and fight back. So with that, I leave you with one last thing that I have to share for the disc golf world that maybe Simon doesn't want everyone to know, but I think it's fine. He has an unadulterated addiction to Wendy's, even if it is not doctor recommended. So with that, we bring you the end of this video. So be sure to subscribe. It's a little bit different. You may not like it. That's okay. Wild Runs, signing out. Peace.